Hare Krishna. Mama Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjanashalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion. So yesterday we were discussing that what is the difference between pleasure in Sattva and pleasure in Rajoguna. So now because Kali Yuga people value more Rajoguna, so that's why the criteria for happiness is in more of uh, Rajoguna. So that was our discussion yesterday. So we have elaborately discussed how this happens, and because that is the what is how happiness and goodness come. That is very important to know. That comes in regulation and following dharma. So here we have seen how a living entity is given bodies with nine gates, nine holes to enjoy differently. And then we have a choice between the Supreme Lord and three modes, and we unfortunately chose three modes. And this choice is because of our desires. So, and now there are pleasures in passion, there are pleasures in goodness. When we get agitated, that's in dopamine, that is in passion, and pleasure in goodness is when calmness of mind. It comes in regulations when we follow dharma. So that was our understanding. And we follow with certain principled life. Right? So basically it is dharma only. So then mind becomes calm and you feel some pleasure, some sort of happiness. And then we understood that in passion it adjusts the modes, and all these things are damaging the mind that we have discussed. And Hiranyakashipu, he conquered the three worlds and everything. But Prahlad Maharaj's diagnosis is that you are the most, highly tensed, always highly tensed person. So why? Because it is in passion and ignorance. So Varnashrama is doing duty, is pleasure in goodness. So don't fight for right, it's passion. So in Varnashrama, there is no fighting for rights. So this point we were discussing yesterday, we have to go for our duties. And that's a training. And then we discussed that people want to be independent, they want freedom, they want control. But in the Vedic system, it's responsibility and duty. That was, and that's how people elevated their consciousness and went to heaven and enjoyed a higher state of happiness. Like we discussed also, like parents are telling work hard and enjoy in future. That is passion, but they should teach life is a responsibility and practice good, and that is goodness. So we have discussed, and in this. So now few more points I wanted to say that are very important to understand. First thing is that the separate desire, this is called uh, pro pratak bhava, means separate desire or individualistic consciousness. I want something for myself. So this separatist mentality is the main obstacle preventing synchronization with Krishna. So material world is a chaos because everyone acts on their own ways with separate desires. So everyone wants others to synchronize with them, but won't synchronize with others. So the problem of separated consciousness like a stagnant puddle of water that rots rather than flowing like a river. So when consciousness is cut off from Krishna's stream, material desires like a frogs croak constantly. I want this, I want this, I want this. Our bhava, the mood, desire, state of consciousness determines our being and what we achieve. So we see the world through the prism of our desires. So I'll just share some points for all of you. It will be helpful to uh, remember this. So here the separate. Yeah, I cannot write it. And now categories of separate desires. So here we are seeing the desires in mode of ignorance, desires in passion called Sakhama, want everything from Krishna, and mode of desire is most dangerous because people confuse with transcendental state. So this is also another point. Now, because the danger of desire for liberation is kaivalyam, it is kama, desire for liberation in mode of goodness. So more dangerous than other material desires because it appears spiritual, and people become satisfied, calm, get glimpse of eternity and think now I need liberation. So this is all called pratak bhava. So pure devotional service is mat gunashruti matrena. So manogatir avichinnam. So no obstacles or divisions. So like Ganges flowing. So now recognition of desires as contamination. So that is what is our main shloka of Aktira Samsunda. Anyabhilashita Shunyam. We must recognize that desires other than serving Krishna are dirt that defiles the heart. So most important thing, not about having no desires, but about not wanting to desire. So and then we have this by the end mixed qualifications. So anyway, this is a different topic, just I wanted to share that one aspect only. So the main thing is how to so this is how we are stuck here. So now the next thing which Nardun is going to tell to King Prachni Barsha, that he says sometimes we suffer because we see a tiger in the dream or a snake in a vision. But actually, there is neither a tiger nor a snake. Thus, we create some situations in a stable, subtle form and suffer the consequences. These sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we are awakened from our dream. So, this is very important. Actually, it is connection to the previous shloka also. Previous shloka also, this says that, oh, you who are free from all sinful activity, no one can contract the effects of Ritu activities simply by manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. You see, this is very important. No one can counter the effect of Ritu activity by simply manufacturing a different activity devoid of Krishna consciousness. That is not possible only. So here it says all such activities are due to ignorance. So with ignorance, we cannot overcome ignorance. When we have troublesome dream, we cannot relieve it with a troublesome hallucination. You see, uh, so one can contract a dream only by awakening. That is the main thing. When we are like a mother, if she sees a child is crying in the dream, Mama, tiger, and what mother will do? What the child is expecting, that mother should enter into my dream and protect me from the tiger. But instead, mother will awaken the child. So that's how the solution is. So when we go to Guru or Krishna, we ask, Krishna, I am suffering from this, I am suffering from that, and so many types of suffering we are going through. We go to Krishna and we expect that Krishna will come and protect me in all this suffering. Instead of that, Guru and Krishna, what they do? They give us knowledge. So same thing happened to Arjuna. Arjuna was suffering because he is thinking all these things are problem for me. And Krishna, instead of solving the problem, he gave knowledge to Arjuna. He made him awakened. So this is actually what is needed for us. What we need is knowledge. That's why Chakshudan Diloje. So Guru is giving us Divya Gyan Hridaya Prakasita. He's giving transcendental knowledge. So what we need is not to protection, we need knowledge. We need transcendental knowledge. Right? So similarly, our material existence is due to our ignorance and illusion. Unless we awaken to Krishna consciousness, we cannot be relieved of such dreams. For the ultimate solution to all problems, we must awaken to Krishna consciousness. That's all. So we have to awaken. So we need transcendental knowledge, and whoever is giving, we should that's who they become our spiritual masters. So Prabhupada and our gurus, they are helping us to awaken Krishna consciousness. That is Guru. Guru is not giving blessings. Prabhupada did not go to give blessings. He gave to give knowledge. He's not just sitting on Vyasasan and he's giving Ashirvad Babas. So many Ashirvad Babas are there in India. They just give blessings. They ask, oh, what problem you have? Okay, I'll give blessing, your problem is solved. And they are very popular gurus in India. They just take the problems of people and try to help solve the problems. Very few people are there who are willing to give knowledge and elevate and training. That is not there in any other place. So that's why the real happiness the Vedas therefore enjoy don't remain in darkness. Asatoma sadgamaya. So the conclusion is that one cannot be perpetually be happy as long as one exists in the material world. The only remedy is to get out of the material world. So here also he is continuing the analogy. He's telling if you suffer because of a tiger or in a snake in a vision, but actually there is neither tiger nor snake. Thus we create some situations in a subtle form and suffer the consequences. These sufferings cannot be mitigated unless we awaken. So this is a very simple understanding. Okay, I have to awaken. How much I am putting efforts to gain knowledge. That is what is intelligence is. That is sincerity. How what is my sincerity? I am working hard to gain knowledge. As stated with us that living entities are always separate from two kinds of material bodies, subtle and gross. Now, why dreams come is because we have some sort of karma. That is also so karma we have to suffer. So that is the reason. And Krishna is telling, oh, when you get pain, now what you do? Come to me and I will make you do some puja. No, he's telling tolerate. So he's telling tolerate only. That's all. If you get pain, just tolerate. So they arise from sense perception, O Satan of Bharata, and one must learn to tolerate them without being disturbed. That's all. Lord Krishna thus informed Arjuna that all the distress brought about by the body come and go. One has to learn how to tolerate them. Material existence is cause of all sufferings, for we do not suffer once we are out of material conditions. So Vedas explain that if you want to come, you have to come out of this. To get free from the material conditioning, one must take to Krishna consciousness. This is the only remedy. So, Prabhuji, financial problem, solution is take to Krishna consciousness. Family problem, relation problem, health problem, you know, solution is Krishna consciousness. Arey, how will I, by chanting, will I get cured my disease? Will I chanting, I'll get financial problem solved? So we have to understand why Prabhupada is writing, how practical it is. People say, no? See, practical is what? So this I'll explain now. So the problem is, uh, problem we have so many problems, but main problem is we identify with the problem. So that is the main problem. So main problem is our identification. So when these problems cannot be solved in this material world, even when Krishna comes, he also has to go through problems. He has to live. He is born in a prison, and he has to leave his parents. As soon as he is born, for 11 years, he could not be with his parents. His birth is only in prison, and then he went to Vrindavan. He got so much love there, but after 11 years, he has to leave all of them and go back to Mathura to meet the original parents and the people in Vrindavan. They are so much in pain, and he could not go and meet them for a long time. And then he could not stay in Mathura. He has to build a house in Dwaraka, and there he has to. So he has to live in the ocean to be protecting Dwarka Vasis, and then he's attached to Pandavas also is for their love, and he has to decide between when to stay in Dwarka, when to stay in Vrindavan, when to stay with Pandavas, Hastinapur. So it's not and if you see Krishna is little okay with Lord Ram, It's from beginning only there are troubles. Though he went to the forest with Vishwamitra Muni. After marriage, he is in the forest. After that, Sita is kidnapped. After Sita came, she left to the forest. It didn't go well, right? So the point is that uh, this material world is problem only. Krishna, no, Dwarkavasis only criticize him for stealing Shamantaka jewel. It is not some outsiders. His own family members are criticizing him. So they are all devotees. They are telling Krishna did it. So can you imagine why Krishna is telling? In this world we cannot solve the problems. Only thing is don't identify with the problems. That's all. Problem will come. So, by Krishna consciousness, what is the remedy is our identification will not be there. Our mind gets detached from these things. We try to solve it, but we cannot solve. Even Bhaktisiddhanta says Thakur, he could not solve the problems in Gaudimat. Prabhupada says he left early. He could not stay only because this material world is like that. And it's always like that. But what Krishna conscious does makes us not identify with the problem. So that solution we get. So to get free from material conditions, one has to take. So this is what is the solution that is given. So people try to solve. How many people, so many intelligent people all over the world, they are trying to solve problems of this world and nobody is able to solve. Parabhavasthavadabodhajate. Krishna already designated this is Dukhalayam Shashvatam. How can you make it Sukhalayam and Shashvatam if it is Dukhalayam and Shashvatam? That is how the Lord made. So we cannot solve the problems of this world. No matter how intelligent, how good intended the person may be, he is with good intentions, good intelligence and everything. Even Parikshit Maharaj, he could keep Kali away for some time. He's too powerful. But after some time, he has just gave it up. And in 7 days, he left and to the spiritual world. He said, okay, I did whatever I can do. But he cannot do after that anything more than this. So the point is, we have to be detached. The real self-interest, Narada says, of the living entities to get out of the nuisance that causes him to endure repeated birth and death. The only remedy is to surrender Supreme Personality God through his representative. See, Guru will help us to surrender to Krishna. That is the only remedy. This is the prescription given by Narada Muni. He's telling you a problem. Okay, remedy is surrender to Lord through his representative. Unless one renders devotional service was there, one cannot possibly become completely detached from this material world. See, what is the solution? We have to be detached. Detached means what? Detachment in the mind, not that I'll run away from the home to go to Himalayas or some forest. That is not detachment. Detachment is in the mind. One can go there, but if his mind is not detached, what is the point? So that is very important. One cannot possibly become completely detached from this mental world, nor can he be possibly manifest real knowledge unless he renders service to the Supreme Lord. That's actually so real knowledge and real detachment is Nardaman is telling when we serve. So this is the way to become detached from the artificial material conditionings. So this is the way to detach. What is that? Only remedy is to take to Krishna consciousness constantly in the devotional service of Supreme Lord. Everyone is trying to be happy, and the process adopted to achieve that happiness is called self-interest. Unfortunately, the conditioned souls hovering within the material world does not know that his ultimate goal of self-interest is Vasudeva. Samsriti or material existence begins with the illusioned bodily conception of life. On the basis of this conception, this ensures a series of unwanted things, which what are called anarthas. So, what are these unwanted? Or it actually all our desires. Any desire we have, I want to have a new clothes to wear. That is also another only. The unwanted things are actually mental desires for various types of sense gratification. Any small thing. In this way, one accepts different types of bodies within the material world. So slowly, we should look taste for all these things. It will not happen artificially. Internally, we are losing taste. If somebody goes for marriage and they are wearing very gorgeous, very fashionable clothes and all, very 1 lakh, 2 lakh clothes, we should not get attracted, or we should not get affected by it. We say fine, and it does not matter. I know. See, if I am in giving class and I'm happy in speaking about Krishna, no matter how many people are there in the audience, my happiness is my speaking of Krishna. Your understanding. So it does not matter how many are sitting in the front. But if my happiness is how many people are sitting in front of me, then that becomes a problem. So, because I want to impress. So this is in passion. So here we have to know these things are anarthas. How many people are there? How many followers are there? No, no, no. Then you are in trouble. Our thing should be, my happiness should be in pleasing Krishna. So otherwise it's anartha. So these unwanted things are actually mental desires for various types of sense gratification. In this way, one accepts different types of bodies. One first has to control the mind so that the desires of mind can be purified. So again and again these things are told. It is not me telling. Prabhupada is telling again. My topic somehow get connected to it. Or I try to take out these points from Prabhupada purport. That is also another conditioning I have. Prabhupada tells many points, but I'll identify the points which are connected to mind. so, so this is the root cause of our problem. So mind can desires in the mind should be purified. Because of this only we are suffering. So every there will be so many points in the purport. Somehow I see these points, and Balram Shakti Prabhu sees about dharma and pure devotional points. So everybody has their conditioning in looking at the purports also. And if you take 100 speakers and give them the purport, everybody will have their own explanation for Prabhupada's purport. And this is my explanation. I am not telling this is Prabhupada tells only this, but I will see only that because of my conditioning, your understanding. So, if you take a speaker of on Sanskrit and all, they will identify differently what Prabhupada is telling and how they are connected, what is the logic. So everybody has their own way of looking, but somehow I am conditioned for this. Okay. Anarthopasamam sakshat bhakti yoga madokshage lokas sajanato vidvans chakre satat samita. This material miseries of living entity which are superfluous to him can be directly mitigated by linking to the process of devotional service. So same point Narada is telling, Array, see, first you choose between Lord and three modes, you choose three modes, and three modes is because of desires. And then what is happening? Then you are having problems, and problems are like the dream. You are dreaming, that is not the problem, you have to awaken. That means any problem you get, take to devotional service. So here also, the remedy is all the problems are superfluous to him. The direct medication by linking to the process of devotional service. But mass of people don't know. That's why Vyasdev compiled Bhagavatam. Anarthas, unwanted things, come down from one bodily life to another. So to get out of this entanglement, one has to take to devotional service. So another nice point Prabhupada says that the Guru is significant in this connection. The word Guru may be translated as heavy or the supreme. In other words, the Guru is spiritual master. Srila Rishabdev advises his son, Guru na sasyat, na mochet et sampayat muktim. One should not take up the post of spiritual master unless he is able to lead his disciples from the cycle of birth and death. That means what Guru is doing? He is giving training. That's all. Guru means he has to train only through his example and through his teachings. Material existence is actually a chain of action and reactions brought about by different types of fruitive activities. So we can stop only when we engage in the service of Lord. So devotional service begins from the neophyte stage by observing rules and regulations. So then one becomes detached. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says, Jivera Suruphay Krishnera Nityadas. So Muktir Hitva Anyata Rupam Surupena Vyavastiti. So all these things are talking about the word. He gives up all engagements and engage in the service of Lord. Vasudeva Bhagavati Bhakti Yoga Prayojitaha Janayati Asu Vairagyam Jnanam Chada Hetukam. So Prabhupada is trying to make the point that our problem is because of attachment. We need to get detached, and detachment comes when we perform bhakti. That's why Vasudeva Bhagavati Janayati Asu Vairagyam. Both Jnana and Vairagya are the result of bhakti only. So our solution is we cannot solve the problems, but we have to make ourselves unaffected by the problems by detaching it in the mind. That's all. So there is no other, because no matter how a person be successful, he has to surrender in front of death. So that problem he cannot solve. He has to live. I made everything, and then I had to all the setup you did, and you have to go away, and somebody will do whatever they want. That's all. Parikshit Maharaj protected the world from Kali, and after that, what happened? Now we are seeing the result. We made all the mess. So how long Parikshit Maharaj can do? He did some time. That was his service to Krishna, but after that he just left. So Prabhupada tried something. Bhaktisiddhanta Thakur tried something. They left. Now it is we will also practice something, try something. We should also live. This material world is not a place to stay. O best of the king, one who is faithful, who is always hearing the glories of Supreme Lord, who is always engaged in culture of Krishna consciousness and hearing the Lord's activities, very soon becomes eligible to see the personality of Godhead face to face. So constant engagement in the transcendental loving service of Vasudev means constantly hearing the glories of the Lord. Shravanam Kirtana Vishnu. So that is what we have to do. So, and this chapter is very big. It has 85 verses. So we have just not yet reached half also. So Narada says, my dear king, in the place where pure devotees live, following the rules and regulations, and thus purely conscious and engaged with great eagerness in hearing and chanting the glories of Lord, in that place, if one gets a chance to hear their constant flow or nectar, which is exactly like the waves of river, one will forget the necessities of life, namely hunger and thirst, and becomes immune to all kinds of fear, lamentation, and illusion. You see? So this is a very important verse. So he says that if we are constantly hearing, so one will forget the necessities of life. So this should we should all achieve this at the by end of our life. Then we should be free from fear, lamentation, and delusions, and we should forget the necessities of life and just sit and chant whole day. Now only if you say whole day you have to sit and chant, we'll immediately feel hungry. That is the condition presently. What about my lunch? What about my dinner? We are so much conditioned. They say, Prabhuji, just go to Vrindavan and no, this is some nice place is there, Suryakund, you can sit and chant there. Okay, bro, we'll sit and chat, but what about my prasadam? That means so much we are conditioned. We are not, oh, Krishna will provide, something will come. No, no, no. We don't have that much. But we should at least desire for it. And know that, okay, one day I should just sit in some nice place in Vrindavan and whole day I should chant. I should not be bothered about hearing, sleeping, eating, and drinking. And whatever comes, let it be. I should just meditate on Krishna, be with Krishna, and chant his holy names. So this type of desires we should have. And then Krishna will fulfill one day. Okay, at least he has. We may not be able to do, but at least desiring is free only. Na? Nobody is charging for the desires. So this is what is at least We have to see. That's why some people like that. When we go to Dham, na, we should go not to see the places. We should go to see the sadhus also. We should not go for shopping. Lohi Bazaar and come back. I took darshan. I went to Lohi Bazaar and came back. No, there should be some. We have there are so many places like Ashtasaki temples are there. There are some places. Now you will find sadhus. I went to, I think, Tunga Vidya's temple in Barsana. There, na, I when Sadhu was there, he is worshipping the deity of that from last 50 years. He said that my Guru Maharaj told me to worship. I was so young, I was in 20s. He sent me here. And I used to feel, Arey, why did he send me here and I had to serve? And he started serving, serving, serving. Now he never left the place. He's staying there from 50 years. He never left the place. And now, and that time it was all jungle and all. Now there are some houses and some lighting and all. That time there was no electricity, no houses around. It's all very deserted area, but he was serving. Now he says, I understood. Arey, Radharani has only 8 sakis. And that 8 sakis, I am getting opportunity to serve one of the sakis and at our own house. What else I need? My Guru Maharaj did gave me. I didn't understand. Now I'm understanding. What greatest gift my spiritual master gave me. I'm so happy that I am serving here now, and I don't want anything in life. I just want to serve. And he's serving for so long, Saki. And where he will go? What he will think at the time of his death? He will think of serving her, and then he will enter into spiritual mass serving her. That's all. So that is how fortunate he is. So there are some nice, great personalities like that. We should think, my God, I was thinking, when will we get a desire to even stay, and with so much austerities he stayed, now he got attached to it. And then he will enter into spiritual realm serving. He will continue the service because he's attached to that service. So such great fortunate people, we have to see them, then we also get a desire. Kabe habe ho se dinama. When will that day come? When will I also get opportunity to stay and constantly chant the name of Lord? Aparada guchi sudana meruchi. So when will I get taste for the holy name? When will I stay like the sadhus and practice my chanting? At least so that consciousness protects. That's why we have to hear about such personalities. I'm not telling that you have to leave home and go now, but I'm telling it desire should be there. That is very important. Without that much tapasya, it's not so easy to get. And very humble person, nice. And then I went to all the Ashtasakis. Now, there are some places, na, there are nice sadhus who are serving for so long time, and they have so much feelings for the Lord. That is also another thing which we should observe in such personalities. How much feelings they have for the Lord. Then we'll also we'll feel very ashamed and guilty to call ourselves devotee also. What type of devotee? There is no feeling only, and these are actually devotees. So anyway, so what I am telling is that uh, we the constantly Prabhupada is writing here. Cultivation of Krishna consciousness possible where great devotees live together and constantly engage in hearing and chanting. And in holy places like Vrindavan, there are many devotees constantly engage in chanting and hearing glories of Lord. If one gets chance to hear from pure devotees in such a place, allowing the constant flow of river of nectar to come from the mouth of pure devotees, then cultivation of Krishna consciousness is easy. When one is engaged in constantly hearing the glories of Lord, he certainly rises above the bodily conception. So this is the problem for us. We are in Dehatma Buddhi. So when one is in the bodily conception, he feels pangs of hunger and thirst, fear, lamentation, illusion. But when he engaged in hearing of chanting glories of Lord, he transcends the bodily conceptions. So we have to transcend. This is where we can know. Like they just get some rotis and then they are just happy eating that rotis. That's all. They are not bothered about what will be the feast, what type of nice luxurious item I will eat, what type of nice clothes I will wear. Simple food from last so many years he is eating, 50 years. Simple clothes he is wearing. That's all, and he's happy. He's not bothered what is happening across the world and who is the president of this country and what is happening. No botheration. It's just peaceful. So this is then that's all what he will get. He don't have any. We are only generating anarthas by knowing many things. These are all unwanted things only. So Prabhupada is telling the word Bhagavat Gunanukatanam Shravana Vyagrachetasah, meaning always eager to find the place where the glories of the Lord are being heard and chanted. A businessman is always eager to go to a place where business is transacted. Similarly, a devotee is very eager to hear from the lips of liberated devotees. As soon as he hears the glories of Lord from liberated devotees, he immediately becomes impregnated with Krishna consciousness. This is also confirmed in the verse. So here, uh, yatra bhagavata rajan sadavo visadaश्रयः भगवद् गुणानुकतन श्रवण व्यग्र चेतस तस्मिन् महन् मुखरितार मधु विचरत चरत पीयूष शेष सरत प्रति शृण्वन्ति ताये पिबन्ति अवतिशो नृपगाद कर्णैस् तान्न स्पृशन्ति आसन त्रिद भय शोक मोह. So this is actually what happens, and this shloka says that सतां प्रसंगा मम वीर्य संविदो भवन्ति हृत्कर्ण रसायना कृता तज्जोषिना दासोपवर्गवर्तमि श्रद्धा रतिर्भक्तिरनुक्रमिष्यति. So in the association of pure devotees, one becomes attached to hearing and chanting the glories of Lord. In this way, one can cultivate Krishna consciousness, and as soon as this cultivation is advanced, one can become faithful to the Lord, devoted to the Lord and attached to the Lord. Thus, one can very quickly attain full Krishna consciousness. Now you see, the secret of success in the cultivation of Krishna consciousness is hearing from the right person. As Krishna consciousness person is never disturbed by bodily necessities, namely eating, sleeping, mating, and defending. So Prabhupada message is always consistent. Shastra is very consistent. Same thing they are telling. Yetair upabdruto nityam jiva loka swabhavaja na karoti harir nunam katamrita nidhau ratim. Because the conditioned soul is always disturbed with bodily necessities such as hunger and thirst, he has very little time to cultivate attachment to hearing the nectarian words of Supreme Personality of Godhead. So you cook breakfast also, lunch also, snacks also in the evening, and then dinner also. The whole time goes in eating. So hunger and thirst, very little time to cultivate attachment to hearing the nectarian words, and this is true also. That's why Prabhupada says, unless, very important, unless one is associated with devotees, he cannot cultivate Krishna consciousness. Nirjana bhajan, cultivating Krishna consciousness in a solitary place is not possible for a neophyte, for he will be disturbed by the bodily necessities. Being so disturbed, one cannot cultivate Krishna consciousness. You see, we therefore see that devotees known as Sahajiyas who make everything very easy do not associate with advanced devotees. Such persons, in the name of devotional activities, are addicted to all kinds of sinful activities, illicit sex, intoxication, gambling, and meat eating. Many so-called devotees passing themselves off as devotees while engaging in sinful activities. In other words, One who is influenced by sinful activity cannot be accepted as a person in Krishna consciousness. Person addicted to sinful life cannot develop Krishna consciousness, as indicated in this verse. So, they will at least complete half of the chapter. We'll reach the most powerful. So, now the topic change. The most powerful Lord Brahma, the father of all progenitors, Lord Shiva, Manu, Daksha, and other rulers of humankind, the four saintly first class brahmacharis headed by Sanaka and Sanatana, the great sages Marichi, Atri, Angira, Pulasya, Pulaha, Kritu, Bhrugu, and Vasista, and my humble self are all stalwart Brahmanas who can speak authoritatively on Vedic literature. We are very powerful because of austerities, meditation, and education. Nonetheless, even after inquiring about the Supreme Lord, whom we always see, we do not know perfectly about him. So now he's telling a different topic. Till now, he talked about desires and then he talked about sufferings, how we can be aloof from suffering. And then he says, be absorbed in Krishna consciousness in such a way that even your hunger and thirst and bodily necessities also don't disturb you. That much absorption you need. Now, another topic he's talking about how these great personalities they see the Lord, but they cannot completely know about Him like that. So, according to foolish Darwin's theory of anthropologists, it is said that 40,000 years ago, Homo sapien had not appeared on this planet because the process of evolution had not reached that point. However, the Vedic history, the Puranas and Mahabharata relate human histories that extend millions and millions of years into the past. In the beginning of creation, there was a very intelligent personality, Lord Brahma. From him emanated all the Manus and the brahmacharis called Sanaka and Sanatana, as well as Lord Shiva, the great sages, Narada. All these personalities underwent great austerities and penance and thus became authorities in Vedic knowledge. So, this is the most important point. So, the most important thing is all these personalities, how did they get knowledge? They get knowledge because of austerities and penance only. That is the way of gaining knowledge. I will explain this point a little bit. Why this is the proper way of gaining knowledge. Even I told about the scientist also. They are also accessing they are also so much absorbed in that subject. It is like samadhi only. And that's why they get access to such formula E is equal to mc square. You cannot get this formula by any experiment. You apply it, you get all the results. But how do you know E is equal to mc square? How did it is Paramatma revealing. So these people also performing austerities, and the knowledge comes from Paramatma. This is always Mattaspita Jnanam Ambhavanancha. Krishna is like Jnana is from me only. What I am meditating in that area, Krishna will, Paramatma will give Jnana. If I am looking at a microbe and I want to know about, Paramatma reveals what is there in the microbe organism. If I am looking at any, I am working in a mobile and doing research. When you do research, it is like some type of penance and austerity only. And then Paramatma reveals, okay, don't worry, I'll tell what is there in it and what all new things you can do to, figure it out. So this is all done by Paramatma. So we should understand this very clearly. So, and this is very important. Maybe tomorrow I will want to a little bit more talk on this. Any questions, comments till now? Uh, Gelmata, this hand is from previous session or this session? Okay. Okay, we'll end. Gil Mataji, no question. No? Okay, thank you all very much. We'll end here. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Hare Krishna.